Chaos Reign.
Chaos Reign presents a cheat sheet for mate selection with special guest Letitia Underwood. Broadcast July the 17th, 2022. This one's a good one, fellas. You might need a pen and paper for this. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you witnessing, we're living in a state of chaos, and taking more greater or extreme chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Yes. Good evening. Good evening, people, black folks everywhere, around the world and above. This is Chaos Reign here. Tonight, we're going to go back to basics and get into the seriousness of things. And like always, we got to deal with relationships, because this is one thing, it's well known for us as people that we love to, as much as we hate our guts. But only time when the hate comes to play is when we have to get in the bedroom and, have some real pernicious orgasm sex, if you know what I mean. So, but before I give you the title of today's stream, I would like everybody to go to the Talk Real Solutions website, talkrealsolutions.com, where you see a 3-point plan for Black empowerment, Black achievement, and under the 3-point plan, you see the list of Black established banks located in your city near you. And I believe there's still 30 or under 30. Nonetheless, there is a Black bank near you. So if you already have an account with your regular local banks, it doesn't hurt to open another account with a Black established credit bank, either bank or credit union, wherever you want to choose. The choice is yours. So, create an account with a Black established bank today. Also on the website, we have latest news, articles, and current events on Talk Real Solutions as well. That's everything for the website version of the Talk Real Solution part of the show. Also, follow Talk Real Solution on Facebook as well. Same name, same logo. Join the Facebook group. Once you hit the like group, you'll be invited to the Face chat room, where it gets very sizzling, very, interesting, and fun in the chat room on Talk Real Solution on Facebook as well. There's a lot of things that's posted, articles, memes, etc. And you'll get a good laugh if you join the Facebook group on Talk Real Solution. So, like the page on Facebook as well. And last but not least, Talk Real Solutions is also on YouTube as well. Same name, same logo. You can see these episodes and other episodes done on Talk Real Solutions. So, find Talk Real Solutions, and you can subscribe if you want onto the channel on YouTube as well. And also, like always, you can never forget the host of the show itself, Chaos Reign himself. Subscribe to Chaos Reign channel. You know the drill. Hit that red button. Hit the top bell for notifications for uploads that I go live or upload on Chaos Reign channel as well. And don't forget, follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7 and add me on Facebook as well, Eric Reign on Facebook. And I also have a Discord service. Join the Discord. That is all in the About section on the YouTube channel. So that's it. I tell ya, as I always think back hard, relationships is, it is what it is. And one thing, when I say it is what it is, I mean it is what it is. But relationships is always an essential part of human development. And like Mr. Sanders says, you have to be social. People are people, and you can't be just in your box and hope to find something. So, anyway, let's look. The title for today's stream is titled Chaos Reign Presents a cheat. Not meaning you should cheat on your mate, but a nice little cheat sheet for mate selection. And I have with my guest, the return guest, the one and only Letitia Underwood. Miss Letitia Underwood, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, yes. And you sound clear enough. I know you talk very softly and smoothly. If you want to talk up, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I want people to hear you loud and clear, because today it's going to be a serious discussion. I'm hoping I could deliver the discussion as to the people so y'all have a well-rounded understanding of things. Oh, before anything else, the call number for today's stream is 717-908-1834. I repeat, 717-908-1834. Access code 917324#. So, Miss Letitia Underwood, what's going on, my wonderful friend? How's things? What you been up to?
Good evening. I just been busy with work. Got some new things coming up for my coaching clients and for my matchmaking clients. So I've just been busy with work.
Okay. Good. Miss Letitia Underwood, are you still operating on Clubhouse?
No, I am not.
You know, you were doing such interesting work on Clubhouse for the last year and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to tell people what is Clubhouse and, you know, what was, you know, the nice things you were doing in Clubhouse at the time.
Clubhouse Clubhouse is an app. Sorry, Clubhouse is a social media app where, you know, people were like-minded people for the most part come together and they have conversations or discussions. I enjoyed it because it allowed me to have discussions with a wider audience about all things dating. But unfortunately, it just became a little too problematic for me, so I just decided to leave. So I'm no longer on using that app. But I do still utilize Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, you know what's funny with Twitter? If you know the word on the street, Twitter did not. Elon Musk pulled back from buying Twitter. Are you aware of this?
Yes, I saw that, and I saw the reason why he did it, and I don't blame him for doing so.
I mean, what was the reason again why he pulled back on Twitter? I know most people didn't cover it. I mean, cause it actually. He was asking Twitter how much of their followers, the people who are on the platform. Oh, sorry, it's bedtime. He was asking them how much of those users were bots, and he asked for them to give him that information because the only way he was going to move forward with buying Twitter is if the bots, I think, were at 5%, and they never produced that information. According to him, Twitter did not produce that information, and so he decided that he wanted to pull out of the deal. Really? I wouldn't want no black person to cover this. Because you know why? They love Elon Musk. But why is Elon Musk so focused to know how many Negroes are on the app?
Negroes are bots. Not blacks, bots.
Oh, bots? Oh, bots. Oh, sorry, bots.
Bots. Yeah, not blacks, bots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you clear. Yeah, you know it's like late night, so I'm trying to clear. Okay, bots. Interesting. I didn't think, I won't say I think. I did not know that Twitter uses bots to monitor what people's actions on Twitter. That's something new to me, Letitia. You know, so they watch people's actions throughout the social media with these algorithm bots, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny. He owns mostly a good portion of it, so that should not be hard to know that because then if he went through and bought them, he would get in control of the information, correct?
Not necessarily so. He owns shares. So just because you own shares does not mean you have access to company information. He's not chairman of the board. He's not CEO. So he does not have that information.
Okay. Well, this is my thinking. This is how I look at it and move forward. Anytime when anything posts, personally, in my opinion, is that unless the person went through and said, I own this, I'm not going to get so hoo-ha and hooray to someone that's potentially I'm going to purchase something. You're going to, that means you are thinking of purchasing. And it's proven evident you're not going through. You're just sitting there posting it out there to affect the stock market. Because you know when he made that decision, do you know the stock kind of shifted? You aware of this?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I tell people many times about stock and playing stocks. It's a full errand to think you to bet your whole life and your earnings and money if you're not very careful. That's one in the egg basket you don't want to be risking. I'm not telling people you should not invest in any stocks. It's good if you know how to do it effectively and properly. But you should not be getting like this is the end-all be-all. This should apply to any person. Because you know, Ms. Letitia Underwood, because you're a person, you matchmake a lot of men with ladies. You always do the numbers and you look at their finance and think, say, okay, you could possibly get and will put you in these match of these so-and-so ladies for you to potentially have a mate. You get me?
Mhm.
We deal with absolutes. We're not dealing with no, say, this is a guarantee. We're dealing with the here, now, and when. You get me? So you got this,
Right.
I put you through this door, and this is where the many access you'll get and where you are going to be denied, possibly. You get me?
Mhm.
But, like I said, that's good information. So like I said, it's a good move on Eli. But, nonetheless, the subject at hand, finding a mate or the cheat sheet. Now, what I mean by cheat sheet, this could apply to men and women, but, like I said, you only do men. So today we're going to deal with the men as much. And if you want to include some women, I'm open as well. So let's start off. What are a few things, before we start with the cheat sheet, you're aware of the economic situation of people today, correct? Because of the inflation and all that stuff, correct?
Yes. Yes. I am.
And when you deal with your clients, I mean, how transparent and obviously you keep it real upfront with them if you decide to take on what you know to potentially position into the best mate possible? How transparent are you?
Well, I only take on clients that I know that I can help. Typically, those are clients who are ready to move forward with their lives and be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And with those people, I can be very, very honest and transparent about their outlook and what they actually qualify for. Like you said, I work with men, so I am a matchmaker for men, and I connect them or match them with women who they're seemingly compatible and suitable for. And I find that men who are more traditional than modern, the process is easier with them than those who are modern. But yes, I can be very transparent, open, and honest with them. It's part of the process. If I feel like I can't be transparent and open and honest with you, then I'm not going to be able to work with you.
Okay. Good. This might be a little hard because there was a conversation I was a part where you were a part of. If you remember the other conversation on another content creator, you're aware of this? Remember the questions of the men and stuff? You remember when they were hassling and stuff? You remember that conversation?
What conversation?
It was with the old man stream. I'm trying to remember the title of it. It was late night stream. This was like a week ago. I think it was on a Saturday. But I remember they were asking you some, I don't know, basic questions. Not this was being little assholes in a way. That
okay.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, that one. Yeah. I can't remember the conversation now, to be honest. I should have watched back and took notes, but oh well. Move forward. In your view, with a lot of these dudes that, I guess there's no chumps on you, but and we expect it comes with the territory. Do a lot of men that find you that when you say you matchmake only for men and you come across them in a lot of other social media or other outlets, social media and content outlets, that do you feel that when they look at you and you tell them what you do and your profession, that they kind of like shitting on it in a way in regards to finding a mate, like they don't respect it? Do you get that feeling sometimes?
I get that feeling from black men, yes.
And
yes.
From your understanding and your experience, you think there's a reason why that is?
I think it's because black men just aren't familiar with matchmaking, and then it's not something that they've grown up with. It's not something that they were introduced to. It's not something. Being outside the box is not something that black men have been afforded. And so I think the thought of having to pay someone to help you in finding a long-term partner doesn't sit well with them. They kind of just turn their nose up at it. I would say within the black community, when it comes to the love industry, date coaching, matchmaking, you get those reactions, but you get a very visceral negative reaction, mostly from black men. They give me the most difficult time when they find out what I do until they start hearing me talk. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, can you do that for me for free then? It's a matter of also the payment aspect. So when you find out how much it costs to hire a matchmaker, a lot of people have a difficult time with that. And I can't say all black men. I will say most black men who are in the lower socioeconomic classes that are below upper middle class, they tend to give me the hardest time. And then I think a part of that deals with the pricing, that how much it costs when it comes to matchmaking is an issue as well. So it's very telling that they don't necessarily have anything wrong with it, but their truest, deepest issue with matchmaking or what I do is the fact of the matter of, oh, you're going to charge me thousands of dollars in order to help me, then now I have a problem with that. I have a problem with what you do.
Does it normally go by the hour, or it's like a one-time fee? How that works? Because I'm not familiar with how the pricing will work with matchmaking. Because wouldn't that be like anything else?
Yeah, it depends on the matchmaker. Most matchmakers charge you a upfront fee. It's a flat rate. I charge a flat rate. Yeah, I charge a flat rate.
Okay, that makes sense. And we all know, guys, when we're talking about flat rate, it's gonna be in the thousands. Ain't gonna be something that's gonna like break your bank or your pocket. Last time I checked, I could be wrong because I don't, I'm not a person looking for a matchmaker right now. You know what I'm saying? But for those that got their money right, got their heads right, besides your body, if you can get your body right, that's cool. Well, normally it's always your head and your pockets. You're in good shape for now. You get me? One thing I never told you is there are other female content creators. One, particularly one that I probably won't name, but you might be familiar. Is one that with blonde locks, and she's kind of catching trends on YouTube. She does a so-called dating show. I'm not sure if you want me to give you a hint if you're not familiar.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not familiar with anybody on YouTube.
Oh wow. All right. Well, she go by the name of King, and that's her last name or stage name. And she be doing this like over the week, like end of the week, and she be dating and telling dudes, say, you guys, you got a plan, you got your body right, you know what I'm saying? And mostly on the average, it's always focused on the physicality, which is fine, but usually anything, I always look at it and say, women are supposed to be more the prettier of the species. A man should always, by vice versa, the norm, if we talk about norm, should always say, what do you do? You get me? Yeah. Than what you look. Because usually looks for a man, on the average, it's not really fitting well in regards to the long term of anything in regards to mating selection. You get me? In the long run. Uh-huh. If he's not doing nothing constructive, productive, rather working multiple or, hustling or working a career and then or keep himself occupied to know when to bring some money in to possibly sustain himself or a family or his mate, whatever, it's always questionable. You get me? But this is what we have out here in this environment that a lot of ladies that's complaining about these men. The complaint what I'm starting to notice, and I'm paying attention close to detail of the language a lot of ladies say, Letitia, is these dudes they complain about are the ones that have multiple children. Some of them are abandoning some of the children, and some of them possibly are coming out of jail. And this is the norm I find with a lot of black women that be on having these arguments with other men throughout social media and other media outlets. It's like a simple trend. Do you get me?
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, so these are the men that you're in proximity and that you, unfortunately, I want to say is qualified. Because if a man was working, he's doing something, why don't you just, invest more time and linger over there? Because one thing is evident, if you're giving up the box to dudes that, let's say you're sex attracted or you're in proximity, what recourse you have to make this man, I guess, do seriously better. Does that make sense? Especially if you... Go ahead.
So you're saying that a woman who is entertaining a man who lacks direction, leadership, can't take care of himself?
In that way, and is not even being productive. Like, he's lazy. Maybe he'll work, maybe a job, and then he'll quit because he doesn't want to do nothing for himself. Or even go as far as he might take to the streets. I'm just using an example. You get me? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm laying out. Yeah. So that's why I'm finding that, if that is the problem, ladies, then you deal with the one that's doing something. You get me? For starters. You get me? Or, you have to change the shift of what you really want. Now, I always hear this notion that women never satisfied. I agree, to a degree. But as you get older, what do you want? What outcomes are you looking for? This is one thing Mr. Chaos was saying. What outcomes are you looking for? You get me? And what you want to do to get it. That's the bottom line that a lot of ladies never understand why he was still on this earth. Besides the height, the weight, and all that stuff, right? What outcomes you're seeking? You get me? And personally, when I look at the outcomes, one thing is evident. A man has to do what he has to do to make something of himself. If not, there's only 3 recourse. Letitia, you want to know what those are?
What are they?
He either get killed, go to jail, or be homeless. If he doesn't do what he needs to in the society. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Those are 3 things. Those are the only 3 things that faces men, especially black men in this Western 21st century we're in. All the other things, if he gets himself to a certain position and handles and doesn't eliminate the 2 out of 3, he is fine. He's in a direction. But overall, when I hear, like I said, the arguments, these ladies are only complaining about because it's who you entertain. And we understand sex is somewhat of the end result and the reward. And last time I checked, these dudes that they said are not doing what they're doing, they sure as hell getting a lot of sex out here from a lot of women in our communities. You get me? So it seemed to me when they talk about this so-called bad man, it seemed to me you liking bad men because if the man had his stuff together, it might pose as a problem. Personally. Now, I could be wrong, like anything else. I don't know it all, but it seemed to me when I hear the argument, it seemed that's the thing that sticks in my mind. The imprisonment and the multiple baby mamas. You get me? So it seemed to me that that's who you qualify if you could put. And then here's the funny thing, and I hear this talk about a lot of dudes when a lot of women come and confront these men and say, "Well, you guys are the leaders. Can you please fix this?" And with a lot of dudes and a lot of men, I'm be honest with you, when I'm hearing this conversation, it's confused a lot of black men today. That seems to me that you want men to leave when you say so, and that's not how it works. You get me? Because men are not gonna waste time trying to straighten up men that is not productive and worthless. We'll look at them and say, if they ask for something, we might say it might assist, but we're not going to say, yo, go get yourself together, go get a job, all this stuff. Man, I ain't gonna waste time with that.
So then let me ask you a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Men are not going to waste time in speaking to the shiftless, lazy, non-productive men within society. Why is there an onus on women to have these conversations with the same women, with those men's counterparts? Shiftless, lazy, non-productive, low-hanging fruit, moralless, none to very little values women. Why are we expected to have those conversations with these women, check these women, put them in place, and protect them?
Excellent question. I'll give you my answer because you're older than me. Then by maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years, maybe. The answer's simple. If you're a woman, you're doing what you have to, and you have your mate, the only thing I could say and recommend, and you know how to take this recommendation, if these women in proximity, which I doubt it, you always make a suggestion. And you say this to get on their nerves. Hear me, Letitia? Here's this. Ready for it? You tell the ladies, pick better, do better. They're going to get mad at you.
So my question is, why is there an expectation from men that women such as myself have to have these conversations with these women?
And like I said, for those two that expecting, because overall, men are not going to waste their time check. If they're not checking the men and they come check women, why you think there's that? I tell you what, because it's the least resistance. So instead of men have to go say we're going to check the ladies, they're always going to put pressure, say, on you or any woman that's being productive. Because, in other words, most of us in the community, we don't like checking each other. Let's be honest. And the reason why is because we're afraid of confrontation, which will lead to possibly a physical altercation or maybe worse. Because in this community we're in, usually the only thing that happens with us black folks, there's a notion we call black on black violence. And a lot of black people don't want to hear that, but I'm keeping it real, that you confront somebody on a good or bad day, they're going to confront you, and it's going to possibly be physical. You see these ladies today, Letitia, that I've been seeing on social media that they posting are getting very aggressive. I don't expect you as a woman to tell you, say, go check these women. Do you agree with me?
I agree.
These women that are actually now on tables throwing food, grabbing each other, ripping each other's clothes off, and also pulling the scalp of their hair, which I know is possible. But, you know, when you wear fake hair, it's possible. Possible. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Don't mix yourself on that. So any dude that's telling you, listen to me good. I'm giving you a cheat sheet before we go into the real cheat sheet. Tell them, if these women start to grab me and start physically handling me, will you dare and defend me? Can you remember that? Can you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
If I try to check. If they check me and they start to try to put hands, will you step in and pull this no good bitch off me? If they said no, they said, well, I am not in the business of checking nobody. Since you guys, and if they said, well, that's not my problem, you know you do, like any woman, you turn the other direction and walk away. Well, I'll have to excuse myself because you're not doing enough. You just want me to get hurt trying to check an ungrateful bitch. And that's the honest truth. You get me? Just like a man. I say, why? Because, like, and most men, we keep real. And I don't waste time with certain men that I know is not doing any stuff. But like I said, it might, if I like to enter, it might get confrontational. Because like how most dudes, because they're raised in upbringings in this society, they're going to move to their animalistic side and want to take to physicality, which could lead one man down, one man up, and possibly one man in jail. Because how our people view and handle altercation and serious problems is usually with physicality, violence. Because we don't use rationale when we deal with serious problems, especially when it comes to immediate person interactions, because that takes the thinking, logic, and always have to think, say, if you have to resort to physicality, that is one of the first, and not should be the first, but should be the last resort. Dealing with simple problems like this, we don't turn to the alternate way. We turn straight to the first thing that will get us a result, and that's physicality. That leads to somebody getting hurt. And that has to change. That's a learned behavior, and we have to change that. And I think if we teach our children that, besides teaching somebody that's far gone, that will mitigate and change what we do and how we do our interactions towards the same or opposite sex, in my opinion. I hope I answered that question. I hope I did that.
It was actually a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Because I get, so hearing you say, you know, men don't like to check other men, right?
Yeah, from what they're saying, yes, correct.
But they want me. I always, no matter what social media platform I'm on, Letitia, why can't you check these women, put these women in place, or tell these women, or have these get these women to get some act right? And there was a point where I felt like, okay, I need to have this conversation with women. But then I realized men weren't interested in having the same conversation with men. Okay, so if I'm having this conversation with women and I'm getting women together and I'm getting them to do better, then who am I getting them to do better for? Because no one's having a conversation with their counterparts. their opposite counterparts, which is men. So at that point, I decided, you know what? I'm not checking anybody. I'm not having this conversation with women about what they need to do and how they need to do it unless they come to me and they ask, because that's what I really got into the business to do, whereas date coaching and giving strategies, I will tell a woman that, you know, in order to qualify for men like my clients, you have to move a certain way. You have to be something that he desires, and such men are looking for particular things. But as far as getting on these women for having their children, having children out of wedlock, who they're dealing with, their attitudes, their personalities, their weight, is not something I'm interested in doing anymore. So, fellas, if you aren't going to sit up there and check lowbrow, low-hanging fruit men, don't expect women to check or put in their place low-hanging fruit and low-value women.
And the funny thing about this, I mean, I find it that, you know, anytime you're getting pressured personally on that, and it's in your best interest that throw the same question at them. You get me? Like I told you before, and I hope you remember this and write this down. If not, when I, you know, put this on my channel, you get a nice little cheat sheet on how to avoid that, to answer and see an alternate question if they were able to, you know, respond if you decide to go that direction, you know. So I'm hoping I'm helpful. So that eliminates anytime a man said, Miss Letitia Underwood, why don't you check these no good women that's out here spreading their vagina walls to all these men and doing such ratchetness? Why you don't get them back in order so I could easily get some nice sex and nothing or something? Why won't you do that? And I'm just throwing that out just to be funny. But, you know, yeah. And that's one thing I will say in response to that, you know. But, you know, like I said, you're going to hear a lot of men going to keep pressuring it. And like I said, there's ways to go around that because, let's be honest, in our communities, let's be honest, we don't like checking each other because we don't want to put us in a position where we have to start putting hands and somebody's going to go on the floor and somebody's going to be standing. And we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, some of these people, these low, what we like to call low-hanging fruits in the community, need to stay in love with each other. They need to stay away from people that's doing something of productivity in the communities. They're the ones that's not doing nothing at all. If we had real control of this community, Letitia, it's going to be a different community in the black community, personally. You get me? I mean, I tell you, there's some dudes. Yeah, let me leave that alone. Anyway, the call number for tonight's show is 717-908-1834, access code 917-324#. I repeat, 717-908-1834, access code 917-324#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents. I did my thing. Is the cheat sheet for mate selection with Letitia Underwood. So let's go into the subject hand. So what are a few things in regards to mate selection that you would, I guess, lay out for the dudes out here, you know, to be honest, of ways of, you know, I guess, selecting a suitable mate. Not perfect mate, but just a suitable mate. The floor is yours.
Well, one of the keys to that is I find that most people actually just need to get outside. They need to get around, be in proximity to what it is they're looking for. You're not going to find, if you have a very specific list of traits and attributes, personality, characteristics that you're looking for in a mate, you need to understand where to find these mates. Secondly, you need to understand not just that you are interested in that person, but would that person be interested in you? So you have to know and understand what a person desires in a mate. Also, you need to make sure that you have your boundaries set, and this is for men and women. Setting boundaries, having a sense of self-awareness, being self-sufficient, and showing that you're competent and you're capable, and having a secure attachment style. Secure attachment styles tend to be more available for a relationship. They're likely to be in relationships, and when they're in relationships, the person who is with them will find it very easy to be with a secure person. As far as some specific tips, it comes down to just understanding that men and women are different, and we want different things, especially subconsciously. There is a lot of talk about the economy. You have to understand your dating style. That's another important thing. That's something I go over in with my coaching clients when it comes to their strategies. Is understanding your dating style. There's only two. There's really only two, and it comes down to where your values lie, what your mindset revolves around, relationships, and the type of marriage you desire. So that dating style would be either your traditional or your modern. Traditional dating styles tend to be more old-fashioned, old school, black and white. It's based in gender roles. Women have their roles, men have their roles. Traditional women, for the most part, tend to want to be in the home and focus on husband, children, household. And then the traditional men, they're more productive when they're working to provide and take care of their family. She's going to be the homemaker inside the home, and he's going to be the caretaker outside the home, all things that typically revolve around the man doing, being laborious, fixing things with his hands. That's going to be that typical lifestyle. That lifestyle, that dynamic revolves around family values. So money is not truly a factor, although a man is going to consider what he needs to do in order to take care of his family. But because it's based in family values, money is not a necessary factor. So a man at any income level is going to possibly seek a wife, and he's going to seek one very early on. That woman knows and understands that this man doesn't have a lot of money, but at some point we will probably get there. But because this is a man who is willing to allow her to stay at home, take care of the family, she's going to find a way to ensure that the family is going to be okay. So if he's not making a lot of money, she's going to learn how to budget around his income. So essentially, traditional families live up under the man's income. They make it work at any income level. So I don't want people to think that traditionalism is only for the rich or well-off or successful. It really isn't. It's for people at every social economic level, because it has nothing to do with finances per se. When it comes to and then the second dating style is modern. Modern is basically, it's not based in gender roles. It's based on who's more competent and who's more capable, and it's based on the lifestyle that you want to live, and having two incomes to bring forth that type of lifestyle. So modern, while traditional is black and white, modern is basically, it is what you make it. And the reason why I say it's important to understand these dating styles is because you have people who are one or the other trying to be out there and dating, and their expectations are, they're being let down based on their expectations. So you have traditional people, majority of the people in society are modern. So if you are a traditional person, you're going to find it difficult to be with someone who is more modern. Also, you have people who are trying to portray themselves as something because something that they're not, to get what they want. I will say that men tend to trend on the side of traditionalism more so than women in today's society. So you'll come across a lot more men with old school values, wanting and expecting to put that on women. And there are women who reject that. Like, there are majority of women in today's society do not want to stay at home. They don't feel that that's their role. They feel better working outside the home. And then you have women who are modern, but they still want to operate old school. And you have a lot of modern men who are rejecting that, especially in the beginning when it comes to dating. So it's very important to understand your dating style. It's very important to know where to meet people who match your dating style. Region is very important if you're up to old school. If you're up to long distance dating. Also understand that major metropolitan cities are not the best places to try to find a match. That's another big issue that I'm finding, that dating in the major metropolitan cities areas is very, very difficult. So you might look outside of those areas to find a super match.
All right. If you want to give us the bullet points one more time, because you said a very lot, and from 1 through 3. No, because I want people not to misconceptualize. So when they go back, they say, okay, bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4. If you may, Miss Underwood.
So, understanding your dating style. Are you modern? Are you traditional? 2, getting outside. Unfortunately, I'm coming across too many people who don't really get out and have a life to meet someone. Proximity is everything. You can't just expect just because you're out in the blue moon you're going to meet somebody. 3, know what it is that you're looking for. 4, understand why you're looking for it. Why do you want it? Have an understanding of yourself. And 5, basically manage your expectations. Manage your expectations, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you. And like always, Letitia, because I'm a man and you wouldn't understand, men overall, we have reasonable expectations. We keep it reasonable, honest. We're not gonna go over across the board like our ladies here. Bullet points 1 through 5. And one thing that I find is, I think it was bullet point 2, that one thing we don't do enough is we don't get out much, personally. And I've noticed, besides my personal views, but I'm being honest, as men and women, especially as men, we have to get out and socialize. Socialization is the key factor of not only you meeting somebody, but you're able to socialize with others. And I think we don't do that enough now in the 21st century because of technology. I think one of the few things that technology have done to people is they stagnate and stifle our progress of pair bond and interacting with each other, to the point that we are just now resorting to being swipe left, swipe right, with now using apps, dating apps, which are okay for the seasons. But as a long term, I doubt you're going to find a mate on a social media app. I don't give a fuck what anybody tell me. That's a lie. Because if you look at somebody in their profile and tell you what they are, it's only transparent, and then you just only see the image. It makes you think, yay or nay, swipe right or swipe left. That to me is nothing. It doesn't really fit. It doesn't really do nothing. You get me? You're going to have to go out there and interact with these ladies, gentlemen. And you ladies too, if you're like ones like, well, not you, but if you ladies like stay in the house and do the same thing like the dudes are doing, and all the other bullet points, if you get from bullet point 1 and 2, you put yourself foot outside the door, and to now maybe understand it and really start asking yourself these other bullet point questions. But number 2, I think it's going to be one that's going to be troubling for a lot of men, because let's be honest, you hear these guys dudes that consider themselves lame and maybe awkward, they don't get out much. You get me? They don't have conversation. And the reason why is because you lack social skills. You hear these players, pimps, etc., the ones, those dating coach men, they'll tell you have to shoot your shot. That means you have to go out and socialize and talk to women. I'm not sure how direct that has to be if you're a man that's under the age or over the age of 18. You cannot sit in your fucking room, your basement. And I'm not trying to be hard on y'all guys. I understand, I get it. But for you guys to get the results you need, and especially if you're doing pre-do financial or you get up there, you still need to socialize anyway. Because how are you going to be able to what's the word? Be a person of multifaceted talents. You develop a charisma and talking, or what you call mouthpiece, by just socializing. Be yourself. Funny. Some woman's going to like and laugh to something about you. If you keep your appearance decent, but if you open your mouth and say something, it's going to go, you're going to go further. But if you stay in your crib, or you go to work and go straight home at a young age, or you're approaching 30, whatever age you are, you're hurting yourself. You're not going to find nobody. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Letitia Underwood, me and Amiri talked about this. This pump and dump thing that these dudes are promoting and pushing, I said only a few of you brothers are going to be pumping and dumping successfully, personally. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Because to do that, it requires you to go out and meet these women and have the conversation. Unless you're paying for it. Which a lot of you dudes, let's be honest, you're cheap. You don't want to pay for it. And trust me, women are selling the box for cheap. But that's not what you want. You want something that's accessible, free, no charge. What do you want to do to get that is my question. What are you willing to put in the work to get that? Sitting in your house and, romanticizing about it is not going to be good enough. So you got to go out there and socialize. All right? Now, moving forward. We'll move on. You got to know what you want. Do you want a relationship? Do you want a marriage? Always think in the back of your mind if you're going out there, out in them streets, or out in them places where women are there. And I'll be honest with you, this is going to hurt a lot of feelings, and you could probably push back, Letitia. Not just how you men are not going to find your ladies in the club, your mate in the club, or your wife. Agree? Amen? Amen?
Oh, I agree with that. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, okay, when I tell people they need to get out, I get a couple of laughs, pushbacks, and I'm like, I wonder where people are actually meeting people. And I'm like, you're not going to find a woman who's wholesome with virtues in the club. So I hear men talk about, basically what they're looking for is a wholesome, virtuous woman, right, with some type of morals. Mm-hmm. You're really not going to find such a person in the club. Mm-hmm. You're just not. The places that, and this goes for men and women, what you're saying you're looking for, you're not going to find that where you normally frequent. Most people, especially black people, we tend to hang around our family a lot. If we have large families, we either hang with our families or we're by ourselves. You're not going to find someone that way. Also, you need to have interest in hobbies, like what real interest in hobbies, not just sitting at home, not playing video games, ladies, not journaling and writing in a book or writing, you have to have interest in hobbies that take you outside of your home so that you can meet up with like-minded people. When you engage in your interest and hobbies outside the home, you're going to come across people that you have common interests with. That could be the start of a great friendship, and who knows, that could turn into a relationship.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And like I said, when people sit there and there's woes me, and even one time I saw one complaint by one sister that they posted on social media, and she was pretty heavy set how she views the men that I guess that's giving her the D as trash, but she wants some more. And I'm thinking, well, like I said, that applies to men, it applies to ladies. What outcomes are you looking for? And personally, like I said, people not willing to do the work, Instead of complaining and bitch about it and on social media, let people look at you as funny and weird, is you got to do something, And constantly, when you hear the complaint too many times, and I'll tell you a secret, Letitia. When it comes to us men, or men in general, we'll hear the complaints by other men about the dating life and their, the options of women they can get or they can't get. But after a while, I'll be honest with you, we'll look at some of these dudes' side and say, you might have to get some help for that. You get me? Because a man doesn't want to sit there and hear a man complain all day, every day. Now, on internet and social media, that's probably allowed, personally, because, remember, if you look at most people that's on the internet, we have avatars. You get me? I mean, No one knows what we actually look like, what we actually do for a living. I mean,
right. No one wants to be self on social media, and then they're shocked when they find out who people really are.
Yeah, of course. You know. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's identity should be exposed if they use social media and want to put out content and keep bitching and complaining about the opposite sex. I mean, that's your business. But overall, if you keep complaining, personally, and this is the only space that you have comfortability and protection to complain, you got some problems. But like I said, when most people use social media today, men and women, is to not only make some money off this, but hope to get an audience of complainers. Because if you look at my content personally, my content is pretty much balanced, and it talks about issues, and it moves and goes throughout what comes to mind to me, and I put out the content as I see fit. I cannot stay one side and say, when you look at Chaos Reign, I am a dating coach, content creator. I am one that's saying there's somebody putting fault of the community. I put the blame constantly. You're not going to find that on my channel on the average, because to me, complaining will not fix the problem. As men, I might get a certain crowd of the opposite sex, mostly men, on my junk if I do that, and I do it well. But overall, I don't want that to be my content overall, because it does not suit or better men of any age. You get me? You're going to have to do something at the end of the day. And I tell you personally, because I stay and keep a neutral ground on what I do, you're not going to see a big audience over here, guys. And I don't expect that, because when people have big audience, you always got to pay attention. What is the end game purpose of their content? They say they want to get let's say black man, black woman get. Okay, how are you going to achieve that? Because it has not been done yet, from what I view and what you view in our existence yet. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Not saying it can happen, but it won't happen anytime soon, because majority of human beings, especially black folks, they just like to complain because it's comfortable to complain. It's just comfortable. To fix the problem, that takes work and serious work, which the average, or you want to call above below average, willing not to take to do to improve, to get the best outcomes. So I tell people, you can complain all day, every day you want. If you make money and you complain, good. But at the end of the day, you're not solving no problems. And if they're going to pressure one side to fix it while the other side don't do nothing, it's nonsense. You know? It is nonsense. So I'm not sure what's your take or what I said, you know, in regards to what I said about that. You know. Go ahead.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that people are just too afraid of rejection, right? When it comes to dating, people are afraid, which is odd to me, right? Dating is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a process where you're collecting information and then you decide whether or not this person is right for you. But people go in with these expectations that this is supposed to turn into something meaningful. And I think the reason why that is because people aren't getting out enough to meet a plethora of people. They're coming across someone, and then they're thinking this person is special, and then it has to turn into something because I won't get this chance any other time. But you can't go into dating, especially in today's age, and I do see this a lot with a lot of older women and men. You can't go into dating with this fear. And if you are out more, you are living your best life, essentially. You know, you have a life. You have interests. You have hobbies. You have friends. You are traveling. You're productive. You're doing the things that you want to do in life. You're going to have a much better experience. But you have to put aside the fear. Not everybody that you meet is meant for you. It's a matter of getting to know this person, and then you don't have to throw away everyone who is not meant for you. You can build great connections, business relations, and friendships off of just meeting people and realizing, okay, we're not suitable. You're not compatible with me. And then a lot of people try to force these situations. Like once you find out someone is not suitable for you, they try to force it. there are signs and flags that people tend to ignore that you should ignore that tells you this person, you're not right for one another. And recognizing that, there's nothing wrong in recognizing that. And there's nothing wrong with pulling back when you know we're not suited for one another. This is not sustainable. This is not lasting. That prevents you from getting hurt. That prevents you from getting so emotionally involved that once you realize that it's not going to work, that now you're not damaged essentially. I think while people on one hand are saying, well, people are too quick to walk away, well, there are some situations you need to walk away from. If you're not compatible, then it's not going to work. I don't care how people slice it, dice it. Now, because you let go of your boundaries, you sacrifice your boundaries, you overlook red flags, you overlook the things that you shouldn't overlook, you can drag it out, but eventually it's going to fail. And then you're left wondering, well, why did it fail? And then when you look back, because hindsight isn't 20/20, but when you start to look back, you start to realize, oh, it failed in this way, that way. I shouldn't have been with this person. I'm telling people you need to recognize that from the very beginning. You need to recognize that going in. Don't wait until it starts falling apart. Don't wait until after it's fallen apart to say, oh, I shouldn't have been with this person, or that was a sign that it was not going to work between us. No, figure that out very early on. I was on Facebook and Instagram, and I commented on a post where this man was saying you should date a woman for a year before making her your girlfriend. And I commented, it does not take that long to vet. If you need a year to vet someone, you're not doing it right. It takes approximately 30 days for you to vet somebody to figure out if you're suitable or not. It does not take a very long time. You just have to know what to look for. People who don't know what they want and why they want it, they tend to take a longer time. But if you know what you want, know why you want it, and you have your deal breakers, your non-negotiables, and you have your boundaries in place, it really isn't going to take that long. It's going to take about 30 days. And because people lack this understanding that vetting doesn't have to take so long, I think that's why they're operating in fear when they start dating. They figure, I have to deal with this person for a long period of time and possibly get hurt. No, if you understand that vetting doesn't take that long, it shouldn't have to take that long, then you can go into it with a much more pleasurable outlook. Don't have your expectations set too high. Understand that just because you met this person and this person showed initial interest doesn't mean it's going to go somewhere. So I think everybody needs to focus on not being fearful when dating and adjust your expectations. Make sure that you are operating not idealistically, but from a sense of reality, that not everybody you meet is going to be meant for you. But you need to be out there meeting people. So.
You know, and this is what I like about you, Miss Underwood. One thing you said that hit right on the spot that I want people to remember. I might have said this maybe enough times. One thing that a human being does not like and cannot handle and don't want to confront or deal with is rejection. My own family members, one of them, say one thing he doesn't like is rejection. And I'm thinking that is part of the human experience. If you're out there reacting to opposite sex and let's say you're interested and let's say you shoot your shot and she says no, it's not the end of the world. Rejection is the name, it's norm in human psychology. It actually will either protect you for something bigger if you don't think about it. There's probably something that she wasn't feeling or don't like, and maybe she didn't want to give you A-OK at the time of day. That might be good for you, personally. Because let's say every woman say yes to you, and let's say they give you the box. And now, like you said, Letitia, some dudes, and I'm not sure that's the norm because dudes move differently when it comes to saying this is my girlfriend and all that stuff, that for a lengthy of time, whatever situation is, this is the one that say, okay, I'm going to rock with this one and see where it goes. It might take a short period of time, like a month or two, maybe 6 months, or even maybe go as long as a year or two. And let's be honest, Letitia, from what I understand from my perspective, dudes will, in the long run, will waste a female's time. You get me? Because some women just don't know when to pull away if they don't know, if the woman doesn't know what she wants going into this, personally. Now, if a lady wants marriage, which I hear a lot of women on social media say we want marriage, I asked the question to this one lady of what age a woman should start prioritize marriage. You know what answer she gave me, Letitia?
What answer?
Late 20s. Roughly maybe 28 or 29. Pushing 30.
Okay.
Now dudes didn't like it, and me, I'm saying, okay. But my thing is this, that a lot of people say they do this because they say they still know themselves and etc. I say, okay, you don't know yourself, right? I'm keeping honest. Then you should not be putting yourself out here in these streets. Personally. In my opinion. Because to know yourself, that means you're going to be sitting there just experiencing things. And we all know when it comes to sex is a procreation act and is exchange. Besides, people complain about the STDs and all these other issues, which really, if I want to be honest, most people don't understand that usually the high things of disease and all stuff. Now, if you think about it in this community, a lot of people are engaged in degenerate sexual acts that they shouldn't be doing. That's also increasing the STD rate and all that stuff that is not being talked about. I ain't going into details there, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But that's another story. That you put yourself out here, you're just winging it out. You're having serious fun. And after a while, you think about it, and eventually once the phone stops picking up, which really does once you touch those 30s, whatever age, it's very hard out here to really get some out here, personally. Since the dudes have been constantly pushing this rhetoric, you know what I'm saying? We don't want no woman that's post-wall or about to eventually hit the wall in the mid-30s. You get me? And you hear this constantly because you study the men, correct, Letitia?
Yes, I hear you.
So my thing when it comes to us as people, men and women of certain age and demographics, that if you got to prioritize what you really want, you know what I'm saying? I think the Mode 1 approach what Alan put out, that will eliminate a lot of problems. But the problem is why people will not do that approach is because people will not get what they want. That means the men, if they sit up front on us, all right, we're going to do this. I'm going to take you out. We're going to have some fun. I'll buy you dinner, and back home, we're going to have sex. I mean, huh? And here's the funny thing about this. If you remember the old man, he creates what they call itinerary. Are you familiar with the itinerary in his book?
No, I'm not familiar.
He said this, and I'm surprised he's not paying attention. He said in the first book, he states that he sends an email, which is a form of a consent, to the one such lady. She sits there, read it, and agrees by saying yes. That is actually a legal binding contract, an email. And in return, he's going to take you out. They're going to have fun. They're going to go out, probably dance, maybe if people dance still. Maybe go out to a nice dinner. After a while, he takes you back to a hotel or a place, and he gets some draws. You understand?
Okay. I'm like, okay.
Now, mind you, if she reneges on as it's time to get into the booty clapping, hold on. If she reneges on, to now, I need them draws, she will face some form of penalties. And he said this only applies to men that's called very highly valued, right? That he will report and snitch on his other mates to say, this woman's not willing to give up the draws. So it's kind of... Go ahead.
What are the penalties?
The penalties from what he said is that she will not be able to get any... what's the word? You know how there's connections or people that she could possibly face or meet to date? To potential...
Network?
Yes,
okay.
There you go. Network. Okay. Correct.
So basically he would blackball her from his network.
Or any network of what he knows or he associate. Bingo.
Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now, to me, that's kind of low. That's kind of sinister and, repulsing, personally.
I mean, not really. A person who doesn't keep their word, like, you got to hold them, I mean, if you're going to give your word, you're going to sign a document that says, I agree to this, and then you're going to do something as lowbrow as reneging on your word, not keeping your word. If he blackballs you from his network or any network that he's affiliated with, that's understandable. But my thing is, networks that he's not affiliated with that she can easily venture into.
Well, let's go deeper. Okay, she'll be blackballed to a certain network of other so-called men, mostly black, correct? So let's say she's not messing with this, but messing with any man. How far you think you could blackball her from a certain network if we want to go there? Because let's be honest, if you're going to sit there and say, send this itinerary just to have sex by, let's say, this lady, and she agrees, and she doesn't give you the booty at the end of the money you spent, and says fine. And I think there was some other repercussions, but I can't go in detail because I had to get the book and read it for myself personally. You know what I'm saying? But so I leave it at that. But my thing is this: nothing's guaranteed to us. You get me? Personally, in life.
Well, unless in writing, that's why people
put
things in writing. Because they want to ensure that.
Yeah, but that's insurance. That's insurance. Yeah. Now, mind you, most men can't get away with this. If it does work for a so-called man of higher value, it might. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, you cannot force sex, regardless you put it in writing. You get me? If sex is really the outcome you're looking for, this is just me now. There are many women on social media that's willing to give the box for a price. Now some people say, well, prostitution is illegal in America. I say it is, depending on who you know. Because personally, America is already corrupt as is. They're not wasting time blocking these women that sell their box. Well, they know they're selling. They know they're selling the box on the internet because everything's monitored. Personally,
but
in my
he's
opinion.
Already in prostitution, though.
He's
already engaging in prostitution. He's a John. If you are exchanging some type of goods, services for sex, you are de facto engaging in sex work.
That's true.
So
this is true.
But there, it's just that some women have a higher price than others. But the price is going to always be the price. So if you are in a transaction,
can you repeat that? You broke up. Repeat that last sentence. You broke up. Say it again.
Some women's price is going to be higher than others, but the price is always going to be the price for such women. If you are engaged in a transactional relationship, it's essentially engaging in prostitution. She's the trick and you're the John. So his repercussions mean nothing because he doesn't have any legal recourse because he'd be brought up on charges for prostitution.
Yeah. Well, I can think of it that way. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Yeah. But like I said, and mind you, he only create this for men that of so-called a certain class, because there are two Americans, unfortunately, especially Black Americans, and there are men that are in some class, either higher or middle or higher than some other men. Go ahead.
This is not for men of the upper class. This is for men with certain proclivities. And this can happen at any socioeconomic level. Like, this is not a class. This is the fresh part when people get to talking about men of the upper class, men who are in the higher socioeconomic classes. If they all do stuff like this and they all engage in this behavior, it's just simply not true. And then it makes me wonder if such men are truly in the socioeconomic class that they're claiming that they're in. Because you don't really do this much talking about your bedroom antics and expectations, especially on social media or in a book, when you have proclivities like this, when you're at that level, because proclivities like this is not acceptable. Out in public, it's not. It's still a hidden taboo secret that people know about, but you don't really talk about. Because these men, for the most part, they have wives, they have families that they're trying to protect. They're having business connections that they're trying to protect. You can have a broke, fine man who will have the same outcome, meaning he is high on the sexual market value. He has very high SMV because he is above average in looks, right, and what women are looking for as far as attraction, especially if he has looks and a large penis. So a broke man could engage in this behavior too. So I don't want people to think that, I don't want women thinking that, oh, men of a higher socioeconomic class, this is how they behave, this is what they're engaged in, this is what they do. That is simply not true.
Well, let's go deeper in this. It goes to ask the biggest question. A lot of these dudes on social media, and I had a conversation with other men about this, that you can't say you're a certain status and you're on social media putting information like that. Usually that's kept on the low, you know? And how these dudes, and you know how black men, we move, certain black men, or, you know, men in general, but this black man, we move very sloppy throughout the internet, you know? Talking about what we desire and what we want and what things we do to get it personally, you know? But other groups of men, unfortunately, and I'm not around these other groups of men, but I know they don't move as much as, you know, how us men move today. And I say to black men, we have to really do better, personally, you know?
Yeah,
because
like, right when I left Clubhouse, there was a certain content creator. I was getting word that a certain content creator, black content creator, very popular on the app, multi-millionaires, got caught up in a scandal. Right? And there were rooms after room after room, and I'm like, okay, where is his network of multi-million? Like, I was asking people, where's his network of multi-millionaire friends at this point? You know what they told me? The white people were nowhere to be found. No white people were nowhere to be seen. So that leads to your point that black men who come from nothing and enter in and start having basically the world being their oyster, they don't know how to move in those circles because then they move sloppily. Like, how are you going to choose the woman that you choose to deal with, and then you get caught up in a scandal with her? Like, there are certain women that you choose to go there with and certain women you don't go there with. And you have to vet on whether or not this woman is going to be an embarrassment to you. And you don't have to do things such as signing contracts to ensure that you have sex. That makes absolutely no sense to me, to men at that level. They don't need to have signed contracts to ensure that they have sex with a woman, because sex is always on the table. It's just that it sounds like he's trying to subjugate women.
Well, it's deeper than that, man. And, well, you know, link to my good friend. He's doing content, doing some things. I might have to link you up with him, have you on his show, because he's more well-versed. He's been married for a generation now. I got to get you in contact with him. But me and him, we do content streams on his channel on these things. And we talk about the plight of us as black people, Jim, that we don't got the money. Period. I don't care what economic status, you hear billionaires, or we really don't got money as a community, collect as black people in this country personally. You get me? And because of that, we don't know how to move once we get the little money that we work or get from other groups of people personally to move properly in this world. And I said this many times, and you put this out here, and I'm about to really take your word verbatim, that it's unnecessary you have to create contracts and do all these things just to have sex. If it's that bad, like they said it is, personally, it seemed to me that to me, this is me now, that once you got it, it seems you're going to be the biggest whore. Especially you don't got, if you're a man that never got the women that you always want, now you got, now you're just slinging cock all over these women, you know what I'm saying? And in return, you might get caught up because you don't know how to move in this world as a man properly. You get me? There are rules to this stuff.
Yeah, these men, if anything, the contract is going to ensure that he's protecting himself. Like you're not going to be running your mouth, or once this ends, it ends, or this is only going to last for a certain amount of time. You're going to ensure that you're on birth control. You're not going to try to get pregnant, stuff like that. But to have a contract to ensure, to say, I'm going to spend all this money on you and you're going to have sex with me, that doesn't sound right to me for men at that level. They typically are just trying to protect themselves, meaning, okay, I'm giving you these goods. This is an exchange. I'm giving you something, and in exchange, you're giving me something, and this is not going to be misconstrued as to something else. Like the biggest factor is being falsely accused of rape or sexual assault. So, yeah, the thought of having to a wealthy man, a well-off man, drawing up a contract to ensure that he's going to get sex is odd to me.
Personally, I think it's stepping into weirdo land, but that's just me. But it lets you know, saying because you're a black man, you have to go out this way. It tells me maybe you need to reevaluate how you're moving as a man in this Western world, this First Nation period, personally. I know it's bad, but it should not be bad when you need a box. If it was that personal, I think the best advice is you better pay for it up front. Don't waste time. Don't take nobody out and then have sex and then say sign a contract like, no, we didn't have sex, or don't run your mouth. That's ludicrous, Even men that sit there don't got much nothing probably have an easier time getting these women in their bed than most dudes that, let's say, got some or never had nothing in life, and they work and build themselves up. Now they got some. Now they can feel the world is their oyster and get the access to all the women. If it's that bad, you better start learning to pay for it now. Because if you can't develop any other social skills and really ask what you want and be upfront honest, it will eliminate a lot of problems. I don't care what the woman is.
And that's what it boils down to, is that these men don't have the personality to get what they really truly want, which is sex. Like, we are in modern times. You have women who prefer to have sex or end up in casual situationships. They tend to like to go the slow route. They're vetting their partners to see if they're compatible sexually. Sexual liberation is at its all-time high. If you are struggling to get sex with a woman, then it's either your expectations and standards are just too high, or your personality sucks. Your personality sucks that you can't go to the local club, local market, wherever you are, and there's a bevy of females, and you can't get one to go home with you that night. Just one. And when it comes to sex, men tend to not be that picky anyway. So then that lets me know another thing, that you're being too picky. Now, I don't engage in, nor do I condone people having casual sex or hooking up. But just for the sake of this particular conversation, in this day and age, it really is not that difficult. I think men are making it more difficult than what it is.
Yeah, they are. They are, unfortunately. And because now they're worrying about the risk of, because of this women's choice and what they choose to have sex. And I'll be personally honest. If a woman chooses a man that is sexually attracted, that's not doing what he should be doing, that's her fault at the end of the day. I'm not going to blame too much to do, because she picked that. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's getting into. That's not my concern. And really, for those dudes that do what they want to do, and if these women that have wasted their time, maybe their youth, and maybe had some kids by these dudes, to come front to you now to really bring something to them, I mean, that's a conscious decision that you have to make as a man. And no woman can strangle or force you to, take them in their baggage, personally. So, like I said, if you're not putting yourself out there as a man, then you're going to be asked out here, And personally, like I said, casual sex in today's world is so casual. It's become diluted. It's like it's saturated over a period of time. Personally, because if people just giving it up for less and not doing nothing of any requirement, and I'm talking about both sides, then really you dilute the dating market. Personally, but that's just me. Let me get a call number one last time, and for those that like I said, last call for the call numbers: 717-908-1834, access code 917-324#. Today's subject: Chaos Rain presents the cheat sheet for mate selection with Letitia Underwood. Now, I'm probably going to ask maybe one or two last questions. In regards to these good women, Letitia, from your understanding, because you've been on this earth for how long again?
42 years.
Ah, wonderful, beautiful. See, I love when I deal with the 80s, baby. Yeah, the 80s were such a good year. I'm not knocking the 70s. 70s were even great year, but 80s, something about the 80s when we have visuals, we have music videos, everything is popping. It is. And matter of fact, we were in the day of Reagan. You know what it is? That's where it is. That's where it's at. You feel me? That from your percentage, from your eyes, Letitia Underwood, what percent from what your understanding is, quote unquote, the good girls out there, the good black women that's out there, that's wanting marriage and doing what they need to do? What percentage you feel is out there?
Okay, so I look at it. This is not my personal opinion or perspective. I look at what men are saying that they want in women. Number one, they're looking for attraction. Mm-hmm. They are looking for women of a healthy body weight with a attractive face. Secondly, they're looking for personality. They're looking for a woman who is a woman of substance. Thirdly, they're looking for a woman who is feminine. Fourthly, a woman who is agreeable and capable of submitting to his leadership. Those women, when you take all of those things into account, I would say that those women are a very, 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 very small portion of the population, because you're going to find most of those values in traditional-minded women, and those women account for approximately 2% of the female population in the United States.
Ouch! That hurts. Only 2%? Say what? Damn, that's a small percentage out of the what we call 13 or 14 or 50% of the black population here in America. Only 2%?
Well, if you factor in just black women, then that number becomes smaller.
Oh! I can't go. I can't. Oh no! I'm gonna drop the mic. I can't do it. No. Oh, we done. The show's done. We done. I'm sorry, dudes. Yo, man. We don't. Thank y'all for calling into today's stream. No, I'm joking. Anyway, and smaller. Now, mind you, Letitia, you're gonna get some pushback. I know some women are gonna hit me up in the comment section. They're gonna cuss you and use the word God. I'm going to guess. As a matter of fact, I might lose some subscribers personally after this. And much time I'm not saying the channel's growing, but I say I gotta be honest. I'm not sitting there. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm here with a woman that has been doing this for over a decade, at least over a decade, maybe longer. But go ahead.
Well, I'm sure I would get pushback, because all they heard was, they didn't hear all of the attributes that I named. And then a lot of times people don't see themselves as how others see them, right? So I'm talking about all of the characteristics that men desire in women. And it's you can feel how you feel as a woman about it, but that doesn't change what men want. And the characteristics and traits that they're describing, that accounts for 2%, less than 2% of the black female population. First off, a lot of black women have an issue with submission. right? A lot of black women have a issue submitting. Submission is yielding to another's authority. How many black women are really going to say, I pay these bills, I'm a breadwinner also, or I pay half these bills, or I pay a portion of these bills, and you get the final say, you get all of the say in the household when it comes to the family and how things are going to run? I'm not knocking it, I'm just pointing out the reality. A lot of black women aren't going to do that. Secondly, a lot of black women were not raised to embody feminine traits. Black women were raised to be independent, self-sufficient, ambitious, go-getters. If you are claiming you're a boss chick, you're ambitious and you're driven, that takes a lot of masculine energy. And I'm not just speaking on bad personalities or women who are all up in a man's face and, don't know how to sit down and be quiet. No, I'm talking about women who exude a lot of masculine traits. Women are feeling like they can do whatever a man can do. They're initiating. They're engaging in the dating process just like men. So if you are a woman who engages in casual sex and you feel as if because you're a woman you can do anything a man can do, and you're operating in that, you're operating in masculine energy. You are trying to portray yourself as men do. So that's lacking femininity. A lot of women just don't have the traits that femininity embraces. Femininity requires you to lean back and rest and let the man initiate. And then you reciprocate, but not on an equal playing field or equal way, but you reciprocate in a feminine, lesser manner. And a lot of women can't do that, or they don't want to do that, right? So that's why I'm saying that. This is not my personal opinion. This is not me saying women are bad and this and that. No, I'm just simply stating that based off of what men are saying they want, growing up in this society, living in this society for 42 years, I've seen a lot, and I've collected a lot of data over the years to where I can calmly confidently make that claim that the population of women who exhibit the characteristics is not high. And it's not high for any woman living in the Western world. It's just not. So this is not about a knock on black women. This is about women in general. But I will say that the number is less when it comes to black women.
All right, good. We have one caller. Let me open this line. And the lines are open, guys, so I'm opening the line now for this one caller. Caller, open line. Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, Gary?
What's good? What's good? You have a question for my guest, Letitia Underwood, Jay?
Yeah. Actually, how you doing?
Hello. Good evening. How are you?
All right. So I got a question. What do you say to these some of these older folks that are maybe dating still? They might be divorced, or they maybe not got married, but they're over the age of, let's say, 45, 50-ish, and they look at this online dating, matchmaking as weird. How do you get them to come to the reality that we're in a different time? And, there's a lot of different dynamics to everything as we dealing in this time with the different challenges.
So I don't try to convince people. I give you the information, and then people do as they will with it. But I will say to people who struggle with the way things are now, and you feel like your way of doing things is how you're going to do things, then buy a dog, buy a cat, and be fine with your singleness. Because if what you are doing was working, then it would yield the result. It would have yielded the result that the desired outcome that you wanted, which is to be in a relationship or have some type of companionship or marriage. But it hasn't. So if you want to continue going down this path, you're going to get the same result. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. So you're borderlining on insanity if you think that not taking a new direction and not embracing how people are now moving, you're going to have a lonely existence. And it's sad to see 50-plus-year-olds struggling and not accepting reality. It is very, very heartbreaking to see.
And lastly, what is your success rate in matchmaking, if you have that public?
I have a 96% success rate.
Wow. Very, very good. Very, very good. Well, I mean, I think that was a question I wanted, to ask. And let me ask you a question in regards to that also, just on last. What about on a first date? Do you think that if your finances is okay, that you should be cheap on a first date, even though you don't know what direction you're going? And again, for somebody that's financially successful, do you think that they should limit their dating expense that one date? If they dating, let's say once or twice a month, different people just trying to find their mate. But again, this is somebody that's in their 50s, is successful financially, but is looking still for that one person, or a woman, a male looking for a woman. He's financially successful, but he has struggles with, again, spending, going in a lavish. Do you suggest or don't suggest for somebody that has the finances, that is looking to dating and stuff like that, to be, reluctant on spending a certain budget for a dinner?
If you are, so women for the most part want an experience. The problem with men is y'all don't know how to give an experience without breaking the bank. And there's lots of experiences that you can give without having to break the bank. But if you're going into it as a successful man, counting your coins, then I would have to ask, what is your truest intentions? Why are you in this? What are you doing? Because typically successful men, they aren't trying to meet the woman at the level that she's at. They want women to meet them at their level. So those dating experiences tend to be what those men are already engaging in. So when I hear a successful man talking like that, that sounds like a successful man who does not really have a well-rounded life. He just has his money and he doesn't do much else. I mean, what's your interest? What's your hobbies, right? You can introduce her to those things, right? So if you have a lot of hobbies, and one thing I found is that a lot of, I would say, entrepreneurs and blue-collar successful men, they tend to be the ones who are lacking in the interest category. So it should be an experience. Like I have clients. I have a client that I just scheduled a hot air balloon ride for him and his introduction. It will be their first date. And he understands that, she may not choose him or he may not like her, but it's about the experience. It's about, okay, these are excursions or interests that I like to do, I like to engage in, and I want to show her my world. That's typically how successful men operate is, I need to show this woman my world because I need to see if she can handle it. Can she fit into my world? So moving with this caution of, I'm not going to spend this amount of money, it shouldn't be about the money. It should be about the lifestyle you've already created for yourself and fitting her into that. And then another thing is you don't have to spend a lot of money to make it a great experience for a woman. Women just don't want to be lowbrow or thinking that you're going to get paid, put in the least amount of effort for a greater reward. Because we all know that y'all are expecting sex or hoping for it at the very least. So if you're going to have the expectation or at least hope for it, then at least put some effort into it, whether she gives it to you or not, but at least put some effort into it because you never know. She just might. But the least amount of effort you put into it, the likelihood of you getting anything from her, is, whether it's sex, attention, time, energy, is going to lessen your chances of achieving the outcome that you want. Does that answer your question?
I respect that. Yeah. And so and just closing that out. Water in the park. Water in the park. If you're financially successful, should not be your high bar. What do you think about that? First date, water and a napkin should not be your high bar if you're going on a first day in the park. Am I right or am I wrong, or what? Somewhere in the middle?
That shouldn't be any man's high bar. Like, even poor men will at least rack up some coins to put in some effort. Even if they have to take her to the local festival, they're going to make sure they have enough for her to play a few games, get some festival food, and go on some rides if she likes, right? And so they're going to put in the effort to make sure that she's had a great experience. That's what dating is about. You approach the woman, you ask her out. Now your job is to ensure that she enjoys herself. So you should create an experience where you both are going to get enjoyment out of it. Being in the park with a bottle of water, napkin, that's just a man who is trying to play games, who is not really trying to put any effort in. So no, I would not say that was a good date or that any man should do that.
Right. I totally agree, and I thank you for the information. I hope there's somebody out there that's listening that understands exactly what she said. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Mr. Solutions, I hope you're hearing. All right. Thank you, Gary, for keeping the lights on. And thank you, his guest, for sharing this information and your time.
Thank you, JNYC. Excellent question. Excellent questions. And fellas, like I said, and I would agree with you, Miss Letitia Underwood, you must give these ladies an experience. If you do it good enough or well enough, you might get maybe the box at the end of the thing. Maybe. But like I said, nothing is always guaranteed. And as men, we should know this. Anything we put out, we hope that we'll receive something at the end. You know? If a man always thinks that everything should be guaranteed, everything he does, you're a fool, you're retarded, you're dumb. Nothing in life is guaranteed. We go for the law average, or hold on, let me say this. But and then you must put in the effort and the work and hope that you get the right outcomes. That's it. You were about to say something?
Well, the only guarantees we have is death and taxes. You're going to be guaranteed death date, and you definitely guaranteed Uncle Sam going to collect his money. So.
Yes. You better give my money. Hey, Miss Taxes. Please give my money. My money. Hey. Well, you know, yes, he needs his money. Anyway. All right. One of you. Go ahead. You want to say something?
I was going to say my tax bill for last year was crazy.
I don't want to get into it, man. Listen. Man, I don't want to talk about that. You know, like I said, people. You know, the taxes. Yeah. But anyway, a few last questions. One other question I do ask. From your view, in regards for a lady. What, on the average, from your understanding, of a woman that, let's say, is raised by, let's say, a single mother, what's the higher chance she's able to, I guess, develop femininity traits enough to hopefully attract the opposite mate? What percentage do you think is out there that's raised by one parent that this could be achieved by only one parent?
Yeah, because I was going to say even women raised by fathers tend to lack feminine traits. So it's single parents raised by one parent in a household. It's going to be very hard unless you've gotten some type of training. I can't really quantify that, but I will say that majority of women lack femininity, right? But I also say majority of black men don't really understand what that entails and what that looks like. They could not, they wouldn't be able to recognize or being able to show distinction for those traits.
Okay. And my final question, and this is from a woman in regards to advice. What would you give? Or let's make it more interesting. If you had daughters, which you do, Letitia, but let's say for any woman that has a daughter, or any woman in the family, whatever, what serious advice you would give to them in regards to how to really change the things necessary to hopefully attract the mate that will be suitable for them for the long run?
Okay, so I would tell any woman, first and foremost, know who you are, develop yourself, and start developing yourself at a very early age. Understanding what you want in life, what your goals are, and who you are, and who you're going to show up in the world as a person and as a woman, right? Secondly, I would tell them to don't change who you are at your core, meaning don't change your values, don't change your beliefs, don't change your ideals just to be suitable, because those are who make you are who you are. But understand that who you are is not suitable, may not be suitable for who you desire, and that's okay. So you deal with the ones who are okay with you as a person at your core. I do tell women to maintain their health. Self-care is the best care. The better you look, the better you feel about yourself. The better you feel about yourself, the more magnetic you are towards men. Men love a vibrant personality. Kindness goes a long way. Develop a sense of kindness for all things within society. That goes for animals, children, people whom you're not in close, familiar situations with, whether they're friends, whether they're wait staff, whether they're service people, it doesn't matter. Have a sense of kindness, right? Being kind will take, and being kind is different than being nice. Being nice, you simply are doing so because you want people to treat you nicely. Being kindness comes from deep within because that's just who you are. You understand that people are deserving of that. People are deserving of humanity, of you respecting their humanity and respecting their person, right? Respecting their ideals, respecting their differences, their opinions, their beliefs. You respectfully disagree, whether you agree or not, you do it in a respectful manner and you're kind about it. Understand men. Have an understanding of what men want and what they're looking for. There are things that you can do to change that won't change you as a person, but you can change to become more desirable, more attractive. Stand out. Be a woman of substance. Be a woman of character. Be a woman of values, principles. Set yourself above the rest. You should definitely move differently how society is now dictating women should be. All of this city girl, hot girl summer culture for younger ladies, I know it's hard for them to hear it because they're like, well, the guys, that's what the guys like. The guys my age, they like such girls. I guarantee you it's going to pay off in the end when you, as you get older, it's going to benefit you to move more wholesomely and virtuous within society. For older women, I would say that older women really need to do a lot of work on understanding what men desire in women. And most men, it's a simple tweak as becoming more feminine, becoming more attractive. And yes, beauty is subjective, but there is an overall objective stance that men take. You know, they like for you to have curves, but they don't like for you to be busting out of everything like a can of biscuits. You know, there's just simple thing as keep it simple, stupid, right? The makeup, the hair, the lashes, the nails, everything in in oh my gosh, I have brain freeze. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't overdo it. You don't have to overdo it. When you are looking a certain way, you're going to attract certain type of men, and for the most part, that's men that you really don't want. Or as you get older, you're going to realize that was men that you shouldn't be with. So how you put yourself out there does determine what type of men, essentially what type of fish you're going to catch. So your bait is going to determine the type of fish you're going to catch. So if you want a man of substance, a man of quality, good character, you're going to have to put some good bait on that hook.
And bait is all a man needs to reel it in, ladies, darlings, sweeties. You know, I got to throw my bait in that ocean, that pond, and hope to snag something. So be that nice bait. You feel me? You see. Now, for recap, the 5 points, if you may, Miss Letitia Underwood, for the mate selection for men.
Oh, my gosh, that was so much.
Listen, Letitia, as much times, I don't have you often. This is our 3rd edition. And always the 3rd edition is always, once we go with the 3rd edition, it goes uphill from here. Possibly, but always, when we have these discussions, this is for learning purposes, and it's helpful for men and women because, let's be honest, there's one thing, if we do a simple analysis, a simple search engine, I guarantee you one thing you find black folks really want and always want to focus and watch and hear is how to get some, how to get in the bed, to find other mates, relationships. We don't want to know about science. We don't waste time with technology. What's that? Books? What? How can I get some? Ms. Letitia wrote chaos. And it said, Ray, you talking about books, technology, math, or what they call certain arts? No, I want to know how I can get some of this. That's where they're at. They want to hear about all this other stuff. That stuff is boring to them. That's like the peanut gallery or the peanut club. It's like Chinese. They don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear things that is comfort to the ears. Where you notice it goes that one ear, most particularly if it goes to the left ear, and it doesn't come out. It stays right there. That's what you're looking for. So if you can, recap. Remember, before you express, breathe, Letitia.
So am I recapping the dating advice?
Yeah, just the 5 points. Yeah, just for my summary.
So basically, when it comes to dating, know what you want and why you want it. Understand your target, basically, essentially. Understand your target. Understand their likes, their desires, what they're looking for. For proximity is everything. You need to be in proximity. You need to be near or putting yourself in places where the type of person that you would like to be with is at. And 5, being true to yourself, essentially. A sense of authenticity, self-awareness. Build the best you possibly and get yourself out there and have a great dating experience. And have realistic expectations. Don't think that just because someone likes you that it's supposed to turn into something. That's not always the case. Some things aren't meant to be. So get out there, meet a lot of people, and one of them will turn out to be the one that is right for you.
That's all she wrote, people. Anywhere people can find you or follow you, Letitia, since you're no longer on the Clubhouse side of things. And personally, I'll be honest with you, Letitia, I had to give you thanks and gratitude for getting me on Clubhouse because I've been hearing this app back in 2020, and I, like many people, want to jump on something that's new, that's innovative, that's having conversations. And personally, in my opinion, I think it's now become a crap show. Too many people, mostly some of our community and many other communities that might have this problem or whatever, are really diluted and really making the app less than it should be, personally. And I'm not saying people can't be monetized because Clubhouse is not at that stage yet. But I guarantee you, if it gets to that point, personally, a lot of people that's doing that Negro stuff, it's going to be the same thing on YouTube. And it's going to be very limited once commercials start getting involved. You get me?
Yeah, I left because I just couldn't deal with the drama and all that. But you can find me, like, if you are interested, if you are struggling with your dating life and you are looking to find out, figure out how to become more successful at dating and start yielding positive results. Black people are, reticent about date coaching, but I'm telling you, if you find a good coach, it will change your life. Right? So my date coaching is science-based coaching that's built around compatibility, suitability, and focusing on you developing a more authentic person, you recognizing who you are, what you want, and your boundaries and setting boundaries. So learning how to vet properly is key, and setting boundaries is also key. So if you're looking for a dating strategy, you can find me go to my website, which is www.twoheartsexclusive. That's TWOHEARTSEXCLUSIVE. So Two Hearts Exclusive, spelled all the way out, twoheartsexclusive.com, and just click on the dating specialist tab. I have a plethora of different services that you can sign up for. I have master classes that I'm offering. I have 10 master classes coming up over the next coming months, starting July 24th. You can sign up for those for $25 a month, and you can get the information that you desire without having to go pay the price for a coaching session. For those men, successful men, who are looking to find their happily ever after and you have not found it, you can sign up for a consultation by clicking on my website and sign up for a consultation, and we'll have a conversation and see what I can do to help you get beyond this rut that you're in and help you find a match that could lead to marriage. For ladies, my matchmaking database is open for a limited time. I do not have my database open a lot. Because I do get a lot of candidates. I only take on a certain amount of candidates every quarter. And so if you're looking to sign up, if you fit the qualifications, because my clients are very, very picky, so make sure you do read that information, the qualifications that they're looking for. So if you are fit, feminine, and beautiful, then by all means sign up. There is a fee to join my database, because nothing in life is free, right? And I'm trying to prevent certain women from taking advantage of my bachelor. So I only want to deal with women who are serious about a relationship and who will share the same values as my clients. So there's a fee. So, but yeah, you can find me at my sign up for services on my website. You can also find me on Instagram. I put a lot of information out on Instagram, dating tips, little words of encouragement, and my Instagram is 2 Hearts with the number 2, 2 Hearts Exclusive. You can find me on Twitter at 2 Hearts Exclusive as well, and Facebook is spelled out 2 Hearts Exclusive. So you can find me pretty much on all social media platforms. Just Google me, 2 Hearts Exclusive Matchmaking Services.
Yes. Google is your friend, people. Google is your friend. And I know you still have a YouTube channel. You put content much. I would probably assist you, Letitia, in regards to the YouTube side of things, in a way. But like I said, it's up to you. Because, like I said, all other social media is fine, in my opinion. But we can't leave out good old YouTube. A lot of people are using it more effectively and for whatever good reason, regardless of if it's growing or not. It's always good to have presence on there, but that's up to you.
Yeah, I think YouTube is saturated, though. I think YouTube is saturated with people giving out dating advice and tips and calling themselves coaches, right? That was the problem we were running into on Clubhouse. That all these people got on Clubhouse, they heard me and Nicole in our rooms and having these conversations, and they spun off having these conversations, and then they started to decide to call themselves date coaches, right? So I don't want to be lumped in with people who actually don't really do this in real life. And there are ways that you could determine who's really true to this and who's not. I don't want to have that conversation. But, yeah, it's too saturated with all these people giving dating advice. And it's like, I don't want to get. I see some of the wars y'all have on YouTube, and I'm like.
I'm gonna say this. Hold on. Stop there. I understand the issue, and the reason why I say a presence, regardless, is because there's gonna be always wars, Letitia, in many fronts. But the problem with a lot of people understand, as long as you stay behind backgrounds, regardless of the situation, and I'll tell Nicole Michelle, then these people that's put out these, and trust me, they are out here now, then people are going to be flocking to them more because, I'm sorry to say this, they're on this app more than anything else. Besides IG and all these other social media outlets, they have presence, but nothing greater than the big screen. The old man has been saying this, and I agree with him that. Now, I'm not saying you should jump on it because I tell you that something you have to look into. Now, if I can assist you, you know where to reach out to me, But personally, I tell people that's out here that's doing the work, do not leave no audience unkept, regardless of what the war out there. And it's going to happen. You're not going to escape it. And the reason we're not going to escape it is because people are fighting for crumbs, Letitia, that they're never going to get. Just the other day, this no good chick did this fake thing with the baby mama thing, and she came out not only like said she didn't make her bread, but she got a whole lot of text from other content creators, knowing it was a lie, but they said they could relate to it. I don't care if you relate to it. She did that just to come up. You made her famous off of something that was bullshit. But the reason why that is because people are not putting no actual things out here, regardless of what the algorithm wants to put out here. It is our rightful duty. If anything, if we're not going to put ourselves to check these people, we could put our content as the backfire. You get me? Now, who sees it and relate and enjoy it, that's for them. But not everything's for everybody. I want you to know this personally and clear. You're not here to try to reach everybody. You're only here to reach that small 2 or 1%. That is the focus. That's the end game. All these other people could go into the gutter for all we care about. So please think about it. Please.
I'll think about it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm not stressing this personally because I've seen too much now. And I see too many people putting out this stuff. And young people, I'm sorry to say this, they're more flocking to what they see in the Jumbotron than anything else. So when they come across us to you, Nicole, or you, they just now see, but they're not on these other apps. If they're on these other apps, they're always going to lure it to the foolishness because that's where they're already accepted and absorbing already. So the best counter is to bring other countermeasures. That's it. But that's all I'm saying. I'm going further. But like always, thank you, Letitia, for coming on again. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to help. You know what I'm saying? If I could I could. You get me? But like I said, we maybe in the future, like I said, I got another friend that does content. I'm probably reach out and see if have you on his platform because he's married. He's living testament proof. So talk to a married man about these things will be excellent as well. You get me?
Okay.
All right. So you get some rest, Nicole Michelle. I'm sorry, Letitia Underwood. I'm gonna mix it now. It's late. And we'll keep in touch. All right. Thank you.
All righty. Enjoy your evening.
All right. Thank you again. And to everybody else, thank you for listening to today's stream. As you know, if you're new to the Chaos Rain channel, welcome to Chaos Rain channel. And for those that will be future subscribers of this channel, you hit the red bell notification for uploads and live streams on the Chaos Rain channel. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. And now, follow me on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. And don't forget my Discord. I'm looking for the many few or the many above to join the Chaos Discord service. Join, link with me, drop content, drop questions. Please interact on my Discord service. And those are links. Those are on the About section on the YouTube page of Chaos Rain Channel. And that's pretty much it. Until next time, people, I'll see y'all later. Take care.